Hello and welcome to the Teams That You Can Trust Masterclass. This is the third and final video in our series where we will pull everything together that we have learned from videos 1 and 2 and discuss the big view, or how we can make hiring a trusted team happen. I created this masterclass in response to hearing persistent frustration from fellow small business owners and thought leaders. No matter how hard they try, they cannot seem to attract and hire the right people for their business. In video 1, we covered 3 hiring mistakes that are stalling your business momentum. In video 2, we addressed the importance of overcoming the 6-cycle carousel to grow with your team. Here in video 3, I want to give you a hyper-practical approach that will help you create or refine your own hiring gauntlet so that you can make sure you're onboarding all the best candidates for long-term collaborative fit. Now, whether you are already running an established team or you're preparing for your first hire, my hope for you is that you will feel empowered and equipped to build the trusted team that you need to achieve massive business momentum and scale. If you are new to this masterclass, hello. I'm Trevinia Barber, leadership strategist and virtual teams expert. I'm also CEO and founder of Priority VA. At Priority VA, we specialize in executive leadership development and executive support services. And over the last decade, I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs, from the startup stay-at-home mom to the corporate leader who wanted to scale their business, sharpen their leadership, and build teams that they can trust to build massive momentum in their business and life. I am a certified doer turned CEO, which means that after years of working in my business, I finally learned the power of delegation to achieve the scale I always wanted. Now let's get started. I am not shy about the fact that when it came to hiring, I didn't always get it right. Yes, I have helped match hundreds of small business owners and thought leaders with their ideal executive virtual assistant. But when it came to staffing my own company in its early stages, I neglected due process on more than one occasion. In video 1, I explained the reason that we often neglect hiring processes. It's because of emotions or our cloud of judgment. When you are the business owner scrambling to fill a role and you're eager to delegate things on your plate, you may be excited when a candidate is available, expresses interest in the right position, and comes at the right price, right? In that same video, however, I explained the pitfalls of hiring for interest, availability, and affordability. Instead, I encourage you to hire based on passion, proficiency, and purpose. When new hires come into the fold of our company with a passion for their work and excitement for the purpose they fulfill, they work as stakeholders, not just employees or contractors. Our ability to hire stakeholders comes back to our hiring process. In learning from my mistakes, we created what David Bonney calls the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an 8-stage hiring and vetting process that every candidate walks through before officially joining the team. I learned about this Gauntlet process 5 years ago from a company called Hire to Fit. I spent a few days with them developing the first iteration. And since then, I've had probably 3 full iterations and a few small tweaks along the way to get the right process for us and our virtual clients. We changed the type of skills tests, the questions that we asked, and even the format of our interviews to really dig deeper and to get the answers that we needed for it. At first, these questions were fluffy, and they didn't drill down to get to the hard answers fast enough. And we felt like the process was long, and I'd go into the interview and still be disappointed with the level of candidates. So we made our process harder on purpose. It is a pain to get through for the candidates, but those who make it through, they wear a badge of honor. I made a commitment to myself that no matter how well I knew someone, no matter the good feeling that I got, I needed to put them through the gauntlet to follow our company values and standard operating procedures. To put this in perspective, my own daughter went through the gauntlet. It is that important to me. Now, I'm going to give you an overview of these 8 stages so that you can implement the same process in your company if you want to. Remember, every business is unique, so every hiring gauntlet needs to also be unique. I'm simply sharing our framework and our philosophy so that you have a model to replicate in your own business with your own unique values. I encourage you to get out a notebook here if you're a note taker, because we are diving in. So stage 1 is the application. A candidate appears at stage 1 after they fill out your application. Your goal in crafting a job application is to attract or to repel the candidate that you need for the specific role you're hiring for. Job applications send a message about the culture of a company and the type of role any candidate is applying for. At Priority VA, we made a commitment to avoid corporate jargon in all of our job applications because it doesn't fit into the dynamic of our company. And I encourage you to draft an application that reflects the kind of culture and the dynamic that you want for your team so that you're attracting the right talent. If the candidate that you hire needs to be super detail-oriented, I want you to include a lot of details in the post so they can feel confident in applying and that all of their questions are answered. Conversely, if you want someone who's quick or bulleted, writing an application with long paragraphs is going to weed them out. So you need to write a post that's going to clearly articulate the behavior you want in the role. In stage 1, you need to decide internally what would disqualify a candidate and what some of your ideal answers to the questions would be. Document these preferences so that you have a set standard about what advances a candidate onto stage 2. Stage 2 is the follow-up questionnaire. Candidates who advance beyond the application from stage 1 receive this follow-up questionnaire, and an ideal candidate will provide responses to this within 3 to 5 business days. Now, we consider it a red flag if they don't respond within 5 days. If they don't want it bad enough to get the job, well, then they're not going to want it enough once they've got the job, right? So we move quick because in our business, we need to simulate what it's going to be like to work with us and our clients. We need them to be on their feet, and I need them to be serious about moving the ball forward because that's what we need and that's what our clients expect. Those who do not respond to that questionnaire after 5 days or at all, well, they never advance to stage 3. The questionnaire asks questions such as, what's your favorite core value of ours and why? What are your top 3 strengths? When was the last time that you failed to show up for an event or a meeting? Tell me about the 3 most important events in your life and how they shaped you as an individual. There's a whole bunch of other questions, but the follow-up questionnaire is a great opportunity to gauge someone's compatibility with your culture and assess their character also. So you know if you're a fit with the way you want to run your business. If you are on the fence about a candidate and their responses, or they give you pause, well, I encourage you to send some follow-up questions to work through that hesitation. Don't just move them through. Ask the questions that you need to feel more decisive about someone so that they can advance to stage 3. Because stage 3 is the skills assessment. Now, you might be wondering why we measure skills after we send a questionnaire that asks questions about values and culture. Well, the reason for us is that hiring for culture is way more important than hiring for skill. If someone isn't going to be a culture fit, it doesn't matter what their skills are. So this is how we prevent ourselves from being wooed by someone who has a great skill set that's a jerk or a diva. We want to assess for full fit, not just skill set fit. Now, you can, if you have the time and the capabilities, always train on skills, but you cannot train character, just like you can't train someone to care. Building a team that you trust starts with wanting to hire for long-term collaborative fit, not just a short-term skill match. Those never last, especially if they aren't a culture fit too. If the candidate's responses to your technical skills assessment are acceptable to you, move them to stage 4. Stage 4 is the interview. So when a candidate is invited to interview, they are also sent a personality assessment, which is another opportunity for you to measure soft skills and cultural fit. Personality tests are a useful tool for us to understand. For example, if a person is great on paper and they're meeting all of our expectations, but they're a poor interviewer, well, maybe they're extremely introverted and being pushed beyond their comfort zone in a on-camera interview. So we then have the freedom to decide if this person is going to be a match for the client. And if so, if there's a way for them to work without being on camera all the time, right? Or video meetings aren't their strength. We outline our interview questions in advance, and we always ask the same one for every candidate. This way, we can't get tripped up if we're in a bad mood or if we're not feeling well that day. It also creates a standard regardless of who is doing the interview. Some of the questions that we ask are what most resonates with you about our company's mission. Why'd you leave your last job? What's your 3 to 5 year vision for your life, not just your job? If we don't hire you, why do you think that's going to be? See, the conversation can go deeper based on the candidate's feedback or steered if their answers aren't really going in the direction that you want. When you're interviewing, especially for remote positions, we consider the environment that someone is interviewing in. If a candidate shows up to a Zoom call in a dilapidated room or an environment that lacks professionalism, they're not a fit because they will not represent us and our clients well. In every stage of the gauntlet, we identify what wouldn't make a candidate a good fit. In the interview stage, we're listening if someone's complaining about their boss or coworkers in the interview. We're not fans of people who throw others under the bus. I am also disenchanted when a candidate doesn't ask questions of us. If they can't back up something that they say when I dig deeper, or when they come out of the gate immediately telling me what they need, like they want to work on their own schedule or they want to work in a certain way. Anyone who spends the majority of the interview telling me about how they're such a great business owner when they're applying as a 1099 contractor to me tends to be a red flag. Our ideal candidate is someone who's looking to grow inside an organization and can be an intrapreneur, meaning I don't want a bunch of entrepreneur who's just wanting to start their own thing after a couple of months of being with us. The candidates who flourish as amazing team members act like an entrepreneur inside the business as stakeholders. Remember, this gauntlet is unique to your business, and so what works for me at Priority VA will not necessarily reflect your values and what you want for your candidates. I'm giving you the Gauntlet framework to find what you want and to attract and vet for that in the interview. So just remember, you've got to be consistent here. Stage 5, this is early stage onboarding when a candidate learns our company expectations and is evaluated for understanding them. In the early stage onboarding, after it's completed correctly, a candidate will move on to stage 6, which is the background check. If there are no red flags from those background checks and we run thorough ones, well, then the candidate gets to move to stage 7, which is welcoming them to the team. This is when a candidate is invited to review an orientation video, key components of the business, and additional expectations. We invite them to join Slack and Facebook and do all their new hire paperwork. Lastly, in stage 8, a candidate is able to be positioned in their new role and matched with a client of Priority VA. Now, as you can see, stages 7 and 8 may not fit for your business, but hopefully you get the big picture of how to thoroughly vet a candidate. Before we leave, I want to give you some best practices to make sure that you experience a successful hiring process. First and foremost, you need to be really honest with who you are. Your hiring gauntlet is going to be unique to you with questions that you ask and the skills that you test for. So you need to spend time getting it right. I want you to stay consistent too, because if you're role playing with a candidate, you need to use the exact same questions every time. Design your non-negotiable questions with your values in mind. You will or should always hire and fire to values. If you can't connect with a candidate deeply on shared values, they will not last long in your organization. And I say this because you're going to get annoyed when they don't show up the way you do. You'll be pissed when you're not their priority, or when they don't answer an email as quickly as you expect, especially if hyper-responsiveness is a priority value for you. This is your time to be really, really picky, because if you settle in the creation of your hiring gauntlet, you're going to feel like you're settling when you make an offer. You want the best candidate, so much so that you're going to have to fight over choosing between a few, not grasping for one to say yes to you. Second, you can revise your hiring gauntlet as needed, but don't do it for each candidate, okay? If you're going to change the process, you need to do it for everyone. Lastly, it's my personal belief that if you are not able to find your ideal candidate, it's better to continue to operate lean than it is to hire someone who does not have the same elements for long-term collaborative fit that you're looking for. Now, I'm not choosing to hire someone if they're not a fit. Otherwise, I'm just looking for a body, and you don't need a body. If you are absolutely dying on the vine and you need a body, I'm going to tell you, get rid of the lowest level tasks that you can easily explain and train. Do make sure that whoever you hire understands that you are only hiring for skill, and make that hire a project-based agreement so that you're not locked into anything and you can transition into a more permanent fit for a hire later. In a scenario like this, you just need to be super clear what you're doing and why you're doing it, so you honor the person that's filling the role. That's just good leadership. So, yay. You made it through the big view on how to make a hire happen. I'm excited about the prospect of you implementing your own hiring gauntlet and finally attracting the talent that you've been looking for. I know it's going to help you grow and scale your business with massive momentum. As a small business owner, we need stakeholders on our team, stakeholders who act like entrepreneurs in our business, who treat it as their own and express ownership in their role. When we hire based on our company's unique culture and values, we're building a team that we can trust. Having a trusted team who is in it for the long haul, it empowers us to delegate with confidence, to generate momentum and achieve scale in our business. As a business owner, it's time. It's time to stop working at the expense of your own sanity. With a trusted team in place, you're one step closer to freeing yourself from working in your business and other unproductive routines. If you're ready to take the next step to shift away from old habits and to learn exactly who you need on your team and how to work in your genius, I invite you to join me for the Momentum Method. The Momentum Method is a 12-module online program that is designed for small business owners and thought leaders just like you who are tired of burning the candle at both ends. You are doing great work, but you can't keep being the doer in your own business. You want to delegate, but maybe you aren't sure that others are going to maintain the standard. You're frazzled, you're tired, and you don't feel like you're doing the work that you're really called to do as a leader. With the Momentum Method, you're going to learn the exact steps and strategies that you need to replicate your unique set of talents and distribute them among team members that you can trust. You need momentum building systems and strategies in place for your team to step in so that you can step out and focus on your role as a leader. Check out priorityva.com/the momentum method and get signed up so that you and your business does not go another day without the systems, strategies, and out-of-the-box hiring resources that you need to scale with a team you can trust. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you inside the Momentum Method. Go to priorityva.com/the momentum method.